feeling. This place is jumping off hard as it can get. No, we won't ever stop dancing on the edge. We like it dangerous, we like to see you split. Turn up another notch, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me tell you something, let me tell you something, let me tell you something, let me tell you something. Right now, 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 right now. Got a real good feeling, got a real good feeling, like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling, I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling, I won't hit no ceiling, like there is lightning deep in my bones. Got a real good feeling, I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Got a real good feeling. Right now, 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 right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling, got a real good feeling, like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling, I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. Yeah, I got a real good feeling, got a real good feeling, like there is lightning deep in my bones. Yeah, I got a real good feeling, I won't hit no ceiling. I'm going higher than I've ever known. I got a real good feeling.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and in today's live stream, we are going to be doing some technical analysis on Bitcoin because we actually believe that Bitcoin is very close to breaking all-time high and rallying all the way back up to $70,000, $80,000 and beyond. In other news, guys, cryptocurrency markets hit all-time high just yesterday. If you switch to the chart real quick, I'll show you that we rallied all the way to $1.9 trillion just earlier this morning, just barely missing $2 trillion. I am joined today, as always, by our co-host, Tim.
What's up, everybody? Also, correcting, it is now the beard.
It is now the beard.
The crypto beard.
The crypto beard. Our friend, the crypto beard, the president of your people, they are very happy to have you. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
We're also joined, as always, by Smay, the producer. Shout out to Smay.
Hi.
Hi. That was...
Hi.
Hi.
Brought to you by I Have a Stick.
The show is brought to you by watches. In fact, if you guys didn't know, a little piece of trivia about me. About a year and a half ago, I got into a motorcycle accident, and I crashed holding this watch right here. I don't know if that focused on it, but I completely scratched the crap out of this thing. It's still running. Shout out to Vincero. We're not actually sponsored by them, but yeah, their watches are awesome. Tim?
Yeah, also, for those asking in chat, there was a story posted yesterday where we explained why we are here today, because you guys are very right, and that shows how good of a fan you are.
Yes, indeed.
We did say that we were going to not be here, and that was not an April Fool's joke. We got April Fool's because the meeting we were supposed to be at, that was a 7-hour planning meeting today, got canceled yesterday at like, literally right after we got off stream. I think at like 10:40 is when we got an update that meeting got canceled.
Yes, we were scheduled for a 7.5-hour meeting, an hour and a half out of town to do our quarterly strategic planning for the business, and unfortunately that did not happen. So here we are again with you today. We are going to be sneaking all kinds of April Fool's jokes in here. By the way, just so you know, you can actually buy Lamborghinis with Bitcoin now. It is for the low cost of 0.1 Bitcoin. You can now buy yourself a Lambo. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. I will show you a picture of my Lamborghini. I actually have a Lamborghini now. I will take a story of that and show you this afternoon. It was really cheap. It was only like $2. Can you believe that, Tim? Have you seen it? It's orange. I think I showed you, right?
You showed me.
I showed you, yeah? Yeah, my little Lamborghini. Make sure you follow our stories. I will show you guys that later on. Anything before we get started, guys? Guys, like I said, one of the first points I want to make in this video, and we're going to jump straight into some Bitcoin technical analysis following this, is total cryptocurrency market dominance. So Smay, if you will switch to the screen, I will go ahead and get started. As you guys can see, total cryptocurrency market capitalization rallied quite a bit last night, all the way up coming very close to breaching the $2 trillion mark. You guys can actually see this over on Cointelegraph. They made an article about this. I'm going to spare you the time. You can read this article on your own, but Bitcoin is doing very well. And in fact, at the time of recording this video, Bitcoin is trading at $59,000 to the cent. And we want to zoom in, look at some technical analysis, and see where Bitcoin is heading. In fact, Tim was doing some technical analysis on the inverse head and shoulders pattern that we discussed a little while ago, and he believes, as do I, that Bitcoin is heading to around $63,000. So let's dive into the technical analysis, and I'll show you exactly why. If you guys are interested, I'll go ahead and show you my technical analysis on my other chart that is a bit of a mess. I'm going to go to the simpler chart so that we can make haste. Guys, the very first thing I want to show you, even before we dive down deep into the 4-hourly chart and we talk about that inverse head and shoulders pattern and where Bitcoin is going, I have to give you an incredibly important April Fool's update. This is not a joke. This is real. Sound your alarms. This is a time to be getting into Bitcoin. Guys, Bitcoin just flashed a huge signal, and here's exactly what it is. Notice this red vertical line on my chart. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about how Bitcoin is undergoing a bullish MACD cross on its daily chart. This is a huge deal. Every time in history that Bitcoin undergoes a daily chart MACD cross, you are going to expect a large rally to follow. Again, I've shown you guys this on a couple of streams, so I will be brief for those of you who tune in regularly. But if you look at these red vertical lines, you will see that every time Bitcoin has a bullish MACD cross, a large rally typically ensues. We're going to get into other reasons that we believe Bitcoin's about to go into a massive bull market and an even bigger rally than it already is in right now later on in the show. But again, I want to start with some technical analysis down on the 4-hourly chart. So let's go ahead and jump in to that. As you guys know from our charting courses over in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, we have videos over there talking about all kinds of different facets of charting. One of the things we teach about is something called an inverse head and shoulders pattern. You can see right here that we have what we would call an inverse head and shoulders pattern with a left shoulder here, a head right here, and a right shoulder there. We see the left shoulder there, the head right there, and the right shoulder right there. You can use these as reversal signals. Whenever you see a head and shoulders pattern, or in this case, an inverse head and shoulders pattern, it is indicative that the market is about to go somewhere. Since it's an inverse head and shoulders pattern, it's a bottoming pattern, indicating that Bitcoin is about to go where? Up. It's indicating that we're going to rally. So the question is, how far might we rally? Well, what you have to do, guys, is you have to go ahead and draw something right here called a neckline. We have to draw between these 2 points right here. Notice this high and this high right here. Whenever you have a head and shoulders pattern, there are always going to be 2 levels right there. For example, I can show you another inverse head and shoulders pattern that happened not too long ago with 2 highs right here. For those of you that are familiar with charting, you will notice this is a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, and it led to a large rally and an eventual appreciation of Bitcoin all the way up to its price target. We're seeing the exact same thing happen right now. So that's how you draw your neckline. From the neckline, you will draw just like this for your price target. Draw straight up from the very bottom of the head all the way up to the neckline, and then extrapolate this out to the breakout. Notice how we broke out around 4 o'clock in the morning back on the 29th of March. When we talked about Bitcoin breaking out a couple of days ago, this is what we were talking about. This is why it's important, because it means that the inverse head and shoulders pattern is coming true. Notice our price target here, guys. It pushes all the way up to above $63,000. You might be asking yourself, Jebb, how long will it take for Bitcoin to get to $63,000? That's a good question. I'm so glad you asked. As we can see, Bitcoin seems to be appreciating at around 2%, a little bit more every single day. In the last 7 days, we've rallied 17%. That's a little bit more than 2% a day. For Bitcoin to rally all the way to 63,000, there are other factors involved, but I would expect us to be doing this around the 5th or the 6th of April. That's around Monday or Tuesday, I do believe. That is around Monday or Tuesday, we should be expecting Bitcoin to be rallying above all-time high up to $63,000, and this is why we might see that. It has to do with this inverse head and shoulders pattern. I do want to zoom in down to the hourly chart really quickly, though, guys, and show you this too. We can see that Bitcoin is trading sideways over the last several days, over the last couple of days, ever since the 30th. Bitcoin has more or less been trading sideways, but notice the rally moving into it was trending to the upside. Because of that, we can expect that when Bitcoin does eventually break out, in keeping with this inverse head and shoulders pattern, we will likely break to the upside. In doing so, we have a price target of, again, around $63,300 and change. Why is that going to happen? Not only because of the inverse H&S pattern. For anyone who just tuned in, remember we have this massive MACD cross happening right now, which indicates that we should be rallying at least 20%. So somebody go ahead and go back to me because I want to break this down. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is a very bullish asset. And at the end of the day, if you've ever read the book I have it down here. I kept it off camera today, but I normally have this on screen. The Bitcoin Standard by Safadi and Amos. If you've read this book, you'll understand why Bitcoin's dominance and hegemony over global currency markets is nigh inevitable. But in the short term, Bitcoin appears to be rallying because of these technical factors. Again, we've used the analogy before saying that fundamentals are what you want to know so that you know what to invest in. Reading this book will give you examples of the fundamentals of Bitcoin. The charts, the technical analysis, will give you an understanding of what you should be trading in and when you should be trading. So let me go back to the chart really quickly and I will show you a potential trade setup, and then we're going to move on to some other news and some other topics. Right now, Bitcoin has a resistance level at around $59,500, close to $60,000 right here. You can see that Bitcoin is hitting its head up here, and it really wants to break out. It just hasn't managed to do it yet. So the question is, when does that happen and what does that look like? Well, guys, I think we will be breaking north of $60,000 in just the next 48 hours or so, and I think we'll be breaking all-time high within the next 7 days. My price target for Bitcoin is that $63,000 number in the next 7 days. Here's how you can trade that. What you're going to want to do is enter a long, and by the way, this is simply an example. Please go and do your own research and your own technical analysis. Please think for yourself. I am simply giving you a concept so that you can anchor all of the analysis I've just done into some action steps. This is not necessarily this is a trade that I would likely follow when I trade the markets. However, I want you guys to make sure you're thinking for yourself. That's very important. Anyway, guys, enough preaching. We can see that Bitcoin's entry price would likely be somewhere around $60,250. The reason for that is because that is safely above our resistance levels at $59,600 and our uptrending level of resistance right here, which I need to turn red so that you guys can understand that that is resistance. And I would also put a stop loss up around $59,600 as well. I'd like to use a conservative stop loss here. I'm very confident that the market's going to rally based on all the analysis I've done. And again, I'm going to draw this all the way up to my price target, which I put right over here at about $63,300. Boom, there we go. We're going to sell a little bit short. I'm actually going to sell at around $62,900, and that's going to give us a 4x risk to reward ratio. If you switch back to me, Smay, that is the trade that I would consider entering here. Again, guys, what you need to understand about technical and fundamental analysis is that it is not telling you what is exactly going to happen with all certainty. What it is, however, telling you is what is likely based off of what we know. If something happens tomorrow and I don't know, a massive country comes out and bans Bitcoin, we can't predict that with the information we have right now. With the information that we have right now, we do think that Bitcoin's going to rally to the upside. And the key word is if Bitcoin does decide to rally to the upside, here's your trade setup. If Bitcoin doesn't rally up to $62,500, I would be very careful about, $60,250, I wouldn't enter the trade. That's why you make sure you have a specific entry price. $60,250 is that in this case, guys. So that is my Bitcoin technical analysis. That is where I think we are going. I want to go ahead and let Tim introduce just a little bit the next concept on reflecting back on March and Q1 and how April is likely going to be a fantastic month for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And by the way, if you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them in chat. We may have time to get to some at the end of the video, so Smay and Tim will keep track of that. Tim, can you give them a little bit of a rundown of what Q1 historically looks like and how March this year was a much better a much better month than many of the previous Marches, especially last month because coronavirus came around and screwed everything up. I really don't know why we let March back into the calendar after the way it acted last year, but we did.
It was a little bit of a pain. No, at the end of the day, here's the thing. I've only been in crypto for about a year. So those of you who have been in way longer than me, maybe been in as long as Jebb, maybe even longer than Jebb, you guys will know if you go back and historically look at Marches, they have not been great to crypto. And like I said, COVID March spoke for itself. That was all-time El Poopy. But historically, Marches have really not been that great. And even this March, I think there was some rumblings and at times frustrations with what Bitcoin was doing. That being said, look at what we were at back in January 1st, and now look at what we are at right now. That is pretty crazy that we have doubled in one quarter. And on a quarter, if you also look back historically at Q1s, I believe there was one a couple years ago that was a pretty decent quarter, but overall Q1s are historically not very great for crypto, not very great for Bitcoin, and yet we doubled in this quarter, which is also leading a lot of top analysts and a lot of people who are experts in the field. I don't profess to be an expert, but they are saying that that is the information leading towards this Q2, and this April is about to explode. You know, looking forward, and I know Jebb's going to talk more about this, and he'll show you some of the technicals about it. Actually, I think he's looking at it right now. Aprils have been historically very, very bullish and very, very awesome. And so, you know, in light of the fact that previous Marches and previous Q1s have been sucky, and yet this has actually been very, very, very bullish. What is possible in Q2? What is possible in April? Because what you have to remember is right now, while those of you who have been in crypto for a while understand the difference between Bitcoin and stocks and Bitcoin and other assets, the large majority of people who are getting involved in crypto right now still see it as just another asset, and they treat it like a stock. So this is the time of the year that people start investing a lot of money into that financial market. There's articles we were reading this morning about people and clients from some of these top investing firms are demanding that they get to have Bitcoin on their purchasing platform. So like all of this being said, we are headed for a massive bull run, not only in April, but Q2, and then who knows where this bull cycle is going to go.
Absolutely. And guys, really, we want to break down a couple of concepts here. Number one, whenever, and I mentioned this in yesterday's stream, so I'll be brief out of respect for everyone who was here yesterday. Not last year, typically in Q4, what do you see? You see Black Friday, you see Thanksgiving, you see Cyber Monday, you see Christmas, you see Hanukkah, and all these other different holidays where people tend to spend quite a bit of money. What happens when they spend a lot of money in Q4 is that they don't want to spend very much money in Q1. So less money gets invested in capital markets such as cryptocurrency and such as the stock market and everything else. Because of that, you don't see prices appreciate very much. As you can see, I was drawing on the chart while Tim was talking a second ago. Q1 throughout the last 3 years has historically been a pretty bad quarter for Bitcoin. However, if you look back at Aprils across the last 3 years, they have reversed that trend. And in fact, if you look back on history, all of Q2 for the last several years has been historically very bullish. This makes sense because after all, we've been now removed about 4 months from the holiday season. Everybody has reaccumulated all of their wealth. They're more interested in investing moving into the summer, and they're starting to get tax returns. By the way, this year is a little bit different, so it makes sense that Q4 and Q1 were very bullish, even though they might not typically be. Q4 normally is, but Q1 normally isn't. It makes sense that those quarters would actually be very bullish, considering that the reason that Bitcoin is in existence in the first place is to counteract inflation, and there's massive, irresponsible, imprudent financial policy going on across every single world government, inflating and devaluing each of their fiat currencies, the US dollar being only one example. We're looking at another massive stimulus package passing. We're looking at more economic inflation coming to the US dollar, and every single time that happens, what the government is doing is borrowing from your future to fund the now. It is taking your freedom and your economic freedom in the future and using it to fund their own ideals of what the economy should be doing today. That, my friends, is incredibly dangerous, and if you've read this book, then you will understand exactly what I'm talking about, because at the end of the day, this is your homework. Go study the word saleable. It's in the first chapter of this book. The more saleable currency, the currency that's more capable of storing value far into the future and over time, among other things, is the currency that'll eventually come to reign supreme throughout the civilization that adopts it. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that Bitcoin is well on its way to mass adoption. We are seeing huge adoption stories going on right now. And in fact, that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about in this stream are the massive adoptive news stories going on, because it's not just us little guys. It's not just the retail investors that are realizing that there's a huge issue with fiat currencies, with government-backed currencies. Large companies, large investment banks are starting to realize that too. So Smay, if you'll switch to our chart, I actually want to talk about BlackRock. If you guys don't know what BlackRock is, BlackRock, I will go ahead and type them in, and you can see they have nearly $9 trillion in AUM. That's assets under management. This is an investment bank that invests in different things. It invests in different commodities and futures and securities. And we can now see that BlackRock has begun trading Bitcoin futures. BlackRock held $6.5 million in CME Bitcoin futures earlier this year with an appreciation of $360,000. I'm not going to get too deep into this article. It is one of many that I want to talk about and touch on in today's live stream. If you go back to me, Smay, the fact of the matter is there is a huge adoption wave going towards cryptocurrency. And another thing that we want to talk about is that Goldman is also moving into cryptocurrency. Tim, I think you had a little bit of information on what Goldman's doing. You're the one that found that. Do you know anything about what's going on with Goldman?
Not a lot. I read the article. Pretty much what I was just talking about. Their clients pretty much demanded that they start allowing them to purchase stocks. I think sorry. The article had more to say about where's my thing? It had more to say about BlackRock, but Goldman was the biggest thing about Goldman was that they were saying that clients were just demanding it.
And guys, this is really interesting because the CEO of Goldman Sachs, the investment bank, Jamie Dimon, not too long ago, Jamie Dimon was incredibly bearish on Bitcoin, calling it all kinds of names. This is a trend that we've seen happen quite a bit. In fact, Smay, I think you have a list somewhere of different influential people in billionaires. Can you just list off some of the names that have completely switched their tone? Smay has an entire list of people that have changed their mind and changed their tune on Bitcoin. Smay, just give us a couple of names if
I would
you can
say
remember.
The biggest one was Mark Cuban.
Cuban's a good example.
He's a big one. To be honest, I don't remember him that much.
There's Cuban and Dimon and Musk. Musk used to not to be on the side of Bitcoin. We've seen we've seen different government officials, the people in charge of the Fed and the SEC. A lot of them and the CFTC. Many of them are now more bullish on Bitcoin than they ever have been. In fact, they're treading on. It kind of feels like whenever you hear the government talking about Bitcoin nowadays, it almost feels like they're walking on eggshells because they don't want to piss off the cryptocurrency community because crypto's gotten so big now. Guys, this is a $2 trillion market. We have to internalize that. Just a couple of years ago, Bitcoin was a $100 billion market. It has increased in size by an order of magnitude. Bitcoin is worth 20 times more today than it was when I got into cryptocurrency 3.5 years ago. When I joined cryptocurrency, one Bitcoin was worth $2,900, and it's massively increasing in value because of imprudent financial policy. And guys, I just want to wrap this entire section up into a nice, neat bow. I posted this on Twitter earlier today, and it's a conversation we've been having around the office. While Bitcoin can make you rich, that was not why it was created. Bitcoin was made to give you freedom, specifically financial freedom. Does financial freedom in this case mean being able to do whatever you want with your finances? No, that is one use of the term, but the point behind the creation of Bitcoin was to give you freedom from the financial institutions such as the U.S. Federal Reserve, the Central Bank of Europe, and every single other entity in charge of our money who now has charge of you. It was designed to give you freedom from them. That's why there's so many libertarians in cryptocurrency, is because Bitcoin is an intrinsically anti-government idea. And that, my friends, is why it's spreading so fast. So, anyway, I've made my piece. Tim?
A question that we've actually seen, I've seen it twice. I don't know if it's been more, and I'm sure there's a lot of you guys who are asking this question. Someone asked, like, why, Bitcoin's volatility has been low in the last few hours, and then somebody else said, actually, if you look at it, with the exception of the drop the other morning, the volatility seems to have been a little bit lower on Bitcoin since the 23rd is what I'm seeing in the chat. I wasn't looking at the chart when they said that. But that being said, Jebb, what would you say about the volatility issue on Bitcoin?
So go ahead and switch back to the chart real quick, Smay, and I will touch on that. They said that the volatility has been low since the 23rd of March.
I'm trying to find the comment.
Try and find that, because ever since the 23rd of March, Bitcoin's up 11%, and in that time, it is rallied from an absolute bottom to an absolute top of 20%. So if that's low volatility, then...
And I said the first one was more specifically talking about the last couple of hours, but then I saw another one.
Well, sure, the last couple... Okay, so if we're talking about the last few days, yes, we have been trading more or less sideways for the last 2.5 days. You guys can see that we've been trading in between $58,400 and $59,600. But again, guys, at the end of the day, compared to many other capital markets around the world, that is a large amount of volatility. 2% back and forth in a day is quite substantial. Now, for Bitcoin, that is relatively low substantial. That is not very substantial, perhaps I should say. However, I actually do want to point one thing out, and that is that we talked about this yesterday, so I'm going to be brief. We had a massive long liquidation just over here at 3:30 a.m. Eastern time, where we dropped 5% in an hour. We also, I believe, Tim, you were telling me that we had another liquidation. I believe it's right here, where we dropped 2% in an hour. Guys, I want to go ahead and address that low volatility question, actually, because it actually is very similar to the analysis that we're seeing on Cardano right now, guys. I'm going to be extremely brief on this because I'm going completely off topic right now. We were not intending to talk about Cardano.
Just note real quick, he meant to say volume, not volatility.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, let me talk about volatility anyway, but I will mention volume as well, because they are actually inextricably linked. Volume and volatility are two different metrics that play on each other very closely. Cardano and Bitcoin both have seen low volatility and low volume over the last couple of days. The reason for that is because the bulls and the bears, if you'll switch back to me, Smay, the bulls and the bears are actually very close to being tied right now. The bulls and the bears are very similar in strength, especially on Cardano. Not so much on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is extremely bullish right now, but the bulls and the bears are still in the process of convincing each other. I like to use the idea of trading with an analogy to voting. Whenever somebody buys, imagine that is voting for candidate A. Whenever someone sells, imagine that is voting for candidate B. Why would you vote for candidate B? Well, because you believe in candidate B. What does candidate B believe? It believes that the market's going to go down. What does candidate A believe? Candidate A believes the market's going to go up, so you go and vote for them. You're buying into the market. So candidate A is buying, that's the bulls. Candidate B is the bears, that's selling. What is happening right now is very simple, guys. The technical analysis is weighing heavily in camp A, over in the bulls camp, and a lot of people are voting for the bulls. However, some people need a little bit more time to get convinced of candidate A before they vote for them. Luckily, the technicals and the fundamentals right now are incredibly strong. So everyone who's planning on voting for candidate B, the bears, the people that are selling, are slowly but surely being convinced that the bulls are in charge. Whenever you see the market trading sideways, think about it as like a 50-50 split in the vote, and nobody knows which direction it's going to go. Nobody knows who's going to win. And what needs to happen is something needs to shift and something needs to change. There needs to have some scandal come out about one candidate, or there needs to be something amazing come out about the other and shift everybody's vote in one direction so that one candidate can take charge. Right now on Bitcoin over the last 48 hours and on Cardano over the last 5 days, there has been a deadlock between the bulls and the bears, and the people voting and trading in both directions are very similarly matched. Because of that, we have not seen a ton of volatility. We've also seen low volume because the people trading in the market understand that the market is actually in a bit of a deadlock. Now, with one caveat to that, if you'll switch back to the charts, May, we saw, as far as candle body is concerned, almost no movement on Bitcoin yesterday, but we actually did see relatively high volume compared to several weeks ago. The volume's been going down, but in general, it's still pretty healthy. Just want to be clear on that.
Just to clarify, Jebb, real quick, are they voting bear or bull?
Right now, people are in the process. That's a great question. Right now, people are voting bull a little bit more than they're voting bear, not by much. Here's the thing, though. The bears just had a massive scandal come out. The bears just had some terrible tweet surface from 10 years ago, and now everybody's trying to cancel them, if we're going to extend the analogy that far. Right now, the bulls just came out and they just decided that, oh man, they love puppies, and they just started a foundation for rescuing puppies, and now everybody wants to vote for candidate A, the bulls. That's what's going on. Right now, everybody is starting to realize, wait a minute, the bulls are in charge. Wait a minute, the bulls are awesome. The bulls are going to take us to that shining city on a hill, and we're going to rebuild a great country, or we're going to rebuild a great town or city or national government with candidate A. Right now, there's a debate going on between the bulls and the bears, and everyone is deciding, wait a second, I actually really like the bulls. At the moment, they seem to be undecided. That's why we're trading sideways. However, the tide is turning towards the bulls. The technical analysis is very clear, and so too is the fundamental analysis. Bitcoin looks exceedingly healthy at the moment, and that is going to lead to upwards momentum. So tying that all up into a nice, neat bow, we talked about earlier on the chart how Bitcoin has a bullish MACD cross happening. That right there is a huge step in the direction of bullishness. We also see it, there's an inverse head and shoulders pattern right now. That is a huge step in the direction of bullishness. Candidate A, the bulls are winning, my friends. We just need to be patient because it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a few days, but I do believe we're about to be breaking a new all-time high, and I do think in the next 3 months that we'll be trading at $70,000 or $80,000 on Bitcoin due to the fundamental nature of what's going on with fiat currencies and central governments right now, and the technical analysis supporting it. Great questions, guys. So I think I have made my piece on Bitcoin. If there's any questions on Bitcoin, go ahead and drop them in the chat and we will be more than happy to answer them. Have you seen anything crazy, Tim? Because there's also quite a bit that we want to touch on Ethereum here in a little bit. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you grab some coffee. Unfortunately, my coffee is not actually in my Boss Lady mug, is in this thermos, but that's okay. You guys will forgive me.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to find some good questions. Here's one while I'm looking for others. Someone asked, if you use a gateway exchange for your home currency and they have the USDC stablecoin, would it be better to use that instead of USDT?
So there has been a ton of debate on US dollar Tether for a very long time as to whether or not it is a safe project and one that you want to invest in. I don't know enough about USD coin to tell you. I think it's a better stablecoin. I don't use stablecoins, quite frankly. I take that back. Normally, when I'm using stablecoin, I'm not in the stablecoin for very long, so I'm using whichever stablecoin is on exchange, and then I trade out of it very quickly. So it doesn't really matter to me what the fundamentals of the stablecoin are because I'm not exposed to it for very long. So I haven't studied the stablecoin USDC very much. That being said, from what I heard, USDC is a great project, and I think, do your own research, that it is a stablecoin that you should probably use over US dollar Tether. Tether has all kinds of issues. I'm not getting into it right now, but that would potentially be wise. What would be even wiser is to go and do some more reading on that on your own, since I can't really give you exactly the answers you're looking for. By the way, if you haven't already, smash that like button, guys. We are like half an hour into the stream. We only have 137 likes. There's like 850 people in here. Come on, guys. Hit that like button. It's totally free. Tim, encourage them to hit the like button.
Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Also, if you have any other questions on Bitcoin, make sure you ask them right now, or put a 1 in chat if you are ready to talk Ethereum and price predictions.
Yes, indeed. We are going to be talking about Ethereum, and we're going to be doing a 1 week, a 1 month, and a 1 year price prediction on Ethereum. All of that coming up here in just a second. Jebb, make your own NFT. Guys, should we make our own NFT?
That would be nice. That would be nice.
That'd be nice. We should give us a 420 in chat if you would like to see us make our own NFT.
I was thinking about already going and selling NFTs, so maybe we can make a
Smay knows a lot about NFTs, and Smay was actually supposed to come on and preach about NFTs all day, but we ended up actually being in office so that we could stream. So
yeah, sorry,
didn't
guys.
happen, but that will happen in the future.
Yeah. That's true.
So yes, give us a 420 if you'd like us to make our own NFT. That is something that we could definitely do for. Hit the like button if you vote for candidate A. Yes, hit the like button if you think that candidate A, the Bulls, are going to win. Guys, actually, before we move on, Emery just brought something up, and I do want to mention this story really quickly about BlockFi. I actually already have the BlockFi article that he's talking about up. So Smay, if you'll switch to me, let's cover this really quickly, and then we're going to move on into Ethereum. This was kind of a backup story in case we ran out of things to talk about, but luckily there is quite a bit to get into. Why Genesis, BlockFi, and Ledin are cutting interest rates on large-scale Bitcoin deposits. Guys, if you don't know, BlockFi, who we've actually been in business with before for sponsoring this channel, BlockFi and Genesis and some of these other projects and some of these other exchanges, they allow you to put your Bitcoin in what is, in effect, a high-yield savings account, and you can generate interest on them. That system is starting to be hard to deal with. It is starting to be very hard for people to make those same kinds of interest, and they have lowered their interest rate. Crypto lending firms, including Genesis and BlockFi, are cutting interest rates they pay on large-scale Bitcoin deposits, potentially signaling an end to the glorified 4 to 6% levels that have served as a staple of the lucrative market. Behind the cuts in the crypto interest rates, according to industry executives, is shrinking demand from big traders to borrow Bitcoin for easy profit opportunities. There is simply too much Bitcoin supply in search of yield relative to institutional demand. So the Bitcoin lenders are protecting their margin by cutting deposit rates. And by the way, Smay, if you'll go back to me, one thing that's very interesting here is that there is lending in the first place, because essentially what that is acting as, by the way, as far as you making money, I don't think there's anything wrong with using these platforms. I think they're actually pretty good platforms. BlockFi, like I said, we've done business with BlockFi before. I think it's a good platform. That being said, it is a little bit weird considering it's acting somewhat like a bank, and it is not actually allowing you to keep your own coins. If it's something that you want to do, by all means. I don't know if it fully lines up with the vision and mission of cryptocurrency, but that's just the way that I see it. Anyway, guys, we are going to go ahead and move on to Ethereum. So strap in, because I have quite a bit that I want to talk about here. And in fact, Smay, if you'll go to the chart, I will go ahead and tell you guys, I was looking at my cryptocurrency portfolio earlier, and I realized, wait a minute, my cryptocurrency portfolio has made a shift. My Bitcoin has actually gone down a little bit in value, or at least it hasn't appreciated as much, and Ethereum has now taken the lead. And I'm actually really excited about that, because Ethereum has been a little bit stagnant lately. It's been struggling a little bit lately, and now it is actually doing very well. Starting out here on the daily chart, I want to show you something that we saw earlier on Bitcoin, and that's a bullish MACD cross, guys. Bullish MACD crosses signal large. I'm talking big 25, 50, 100% rallies on cryptocurrency markets on the daily chart. We're seeing the same thing happen on Bitcoin. Ethereum is a couple of days ahead of where Bitcoin is now. Over the last several days, over the last 7 days, Ethereum has rallied 26.5%, all the way back to $1,950 as a local high. In fact, looking down on the hourly chart, we can see that Ethereum currently has a double top sitting around 1950. And if we zoom in even farther, you can see that Ethereum is in what we would call a bull flag. This is indicative that Ethereum is about to break even farther to the upside. This is what a market does whenever it wants to stop for gas, and it wants to go into a rally, trade sideways and consolidate, lock in gains, and then rally even farther. That is what we're likely about to see on Ethereum. And by the way, guys, I'll be very clear with you, Ethereum and Bitcoin, even though Ethereum is broken away and is doing even better than Bitcoin lately, those are very highly correlated markets. And whenever Ethereum does very well, you can expect Bitcoin to do very well. And whenever Bitcoin does very well, you can expect Ethereum to do very well. These two markets, I'll go ahead and show you their similarities. If I overlay them on top of each other, are incredibly, incredibly similar. Look at this, guys. I have the Bitcoin chart as this line chart right here, overlaying on top of Ethereum. These two markets are almost identical looking if you look at them like that. By the way, if you don't know how to do that, you can come up here to compare, type in BTC USD, and then boom, you hit this button, and then you will see this right here, the comparison between these two charts. Make sure that you have it on percentage down here, or else it won't make any sense. There you go, guys. So that, my friends, is where Ethereum is going. I do believe that Ethereum is going to be rallying back to all-time high, and I'll show you why. Down on the 4-hourly chart, we're seeing the exact same thing happen as we saw on Bitcoin. We're seeing an inverse head and shoulders pattern with a neckline right here. It looks almost identical to Bitcoin. In fact, if you didn't tell me that this was Ethereum, it would be a little bit hard to discern that this is Ethereum and not Bitcoin, because these charts look so similar. You can see the two highs right here that we're using to discern our neckline, and if we go ahead and draw a price target from this, we can see that Ethereum's price target is, boom, right where it rallied to. Look at how accurate this price target was. It was price target. The price target said Ethereum should go to about 1940. Guess where Ethereum went?
It's at right now.
It went to 1940. So guys, go to full screen real quick. Smay, let's just brag on technical analysis a little bit. Tim, how has your education in technical analysis been coming?
Okay, so literally, Jebb and I sat down. I was going through CT2A. I was learning it. So he taught me how to graph this stuff. So we graphed it out, and it was literally 1940 the other day. And if you guys look, those of you who have been watching our price predictions, we predicted Ethereum's price a couple days ago.
Yep.
It didn't get to 1940, but we were predicting it based off of that chart.
Yes.
So Jebb was delayed. It didn't happen exactly when he said, which is, for those of you who know technical analysis, I'm learning it. It is very hard to pinpoint the exact time things are going to happen.
Yeah, the price is pretty easy. The timing is the hard part. And the thing is that you don't actually need to care about the timing, because that's not going to affect your trade very much at all unless you're in 100x leverage. But if you can figure out the price that a cryptocurrency is going to move to, that means that you can figure out what trade you should enter. By the way, guys, I showed you a trade setup just a couple of days ago with a price target around 1940. Guess where Ethereum is trading at right now? 1940. It's actually 1927. But a couple of hours ago, it was trading at 1940. It's sitting right up there in that region. Guys, this is why we harp on technical analysis, because again, as I've said many times, fundamental analysis. This is a great resource for Bitcoin fundamental analysis. Read this book if you haven't. This is the Bitcoin gospel. This is the good news of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin fundamental analysis explains to you why you should invest in Bitcoin. Technical analysis is going to explain to you when and where you should place your trades. So our technical analysis gave us some predictions of where Ethereum is going, and here are some more. So if you'll jump back to the chart, I'll go ahead and show you. I believe that Ethereum is about to break this double top. However, I'm not convinced it's going to happen right away. If you look on the 4-hourly chart right here, you can see that Ethereum is overextended, and this is something that Tim correctly identified just a couple of hours ago when we came into the office. On the 4-hourly chart, Ethereum over US dollars is overextended, and that means that on the 4-hourly chart, Ethereum may need to correct a little bit, maybe even down to around 1850 before it breaks out. That being said, if Ethereum pulls back and rallies again, or if it just rallies straight up without needing to correct at all, I believe that in the next 2 to 3 days, Ethereum will be above $1,940, which is our current double top. We will rally back to all-time high of $2,040 based on that daily chart MACD. Because remember, guys, daily chart MACD just crossed bullish. RSI on the daily chart sitting at 62, so we have plenty of room to run. Based on those two factors on the daily chart, we believe we're going to break 2040, but because of what we're seeing on the 4-hourly chart, we believe that Ethereum is going to take a little bit. It's not going to happen immediately. In fact, I'll give you another example of where I think we may head. I don't know why my EMA just got eradicated. I don't know where my exponential moving average went. Let's go ahead and put that back up here. Give me 1 second, guys. You guys can see how I set up my exponential moving average if you would like. There we go. So our 20 exponential moving average on 4-hourly is sitting right around $1,850. I think that somewhere around here, you can see we pulled back recently and tested this moving average on 4-hourly. I think we're going to see the same thing happen on Ethereum before we rally. We'll probably see a little bit of a dip and then rally. But from there, we should break 1940 and rally all the way to all-time high and beyond. So, if you'll go to me on full screen, this is my prediction on Ethereum. Based on everything I just showed you, I think that Ethereum is going to be rallying back to all-time high and testing it in the next week. In the next month, I believe that Ethereum will be breaking its all-time high and will likely be trading somewhere around $2,500. I'm not going to get into exactly where that price target comes in today's video. We'll likely be doing that in a future video, but to make it simple, I believe that's going to happen because of that MACD cross and the bullishness that we are seeing in the overall market, and the fact that we're seeing massive bullishness in the overall market is going to lead to bullishness on Bitcoin, which is going to lead to bullishness on Ethereum, because those two cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are inextricably linked. Whatever Bitcoin does, Ethereum is right there on its coattails. So Ethereum's MACD cross, the fundamentals going on in the market, and the fact that Bitcoin looks primed and ready to have a big breakout, I believe that in the next month, Ethereum is going to go to $2,500. And as far as a yearly price target on Ethereum, guys, I'm putting a price target a lot more conservatively than many people of around $5,000 to $7,500 by the end of the year. I think it will rally quite a bit. I don't, however, think it's going to $20,000. In fact, I've seen a lot of people predicting a $20,000 Ethereum, and quite frankly, especially considering Cardano is a great project that is growing quickly and competing with Ethereum. It hasn't started really competing with it yet, but it's getting there, especially because of Cardano potentially taking market capitalization and market dominance away from Ethereum. My price targets on Ethereum are a little bit more conservative. However, I really do believe that Ethereum could more than double before the end of the year. Give me a 1 in chat if you agree. Tim?
The only thing I would say is, and this is, we got to continue to develop this news about it, but as someone pointed out in chat, and I went and did more research on it, Ethereum proposal 1559, that's 1559, set to be bundled together with the London upgrade in July, is causing a lot of excitement. And it might not be much more than just affecting the gas fees, but at the end of the day, what is Ethereum's biggest problem at the moment? The freaking gas fees.
Yes.
So, is Ethereum doing everything it wants to do right now? No. Like, at the end of the day, the fact that it's still going up despite all those gas fees, I'm not saying it will get to 20,000, but you also, there's a reason why people predicted that. And if these things like ETH 1559 come out and they're good, yeah, I don't know. Like, but put it this way, I would love, because I hold Ethereum, I would love for you to be wrong, Jebb, and I would love for
me to be wrong.
Yes,
also.
I would love it.
We have dozens and dozens and dozens of Ethereum that we're holding, guys. I would be very happy to be wrong on Ethereum. I don't think I am, though. It's going to depend on the fundamentals, guys. Remember, when we're doing price targets and technical analysis and fundamental analysis and trading and investing, it all falls back to either technical or fundamental analysis. The fundamental analysis on Ethereum is what we need when we're making yearly price targets. And quite frankly, we don't know all the fundamental analysis for this year on Ethereum because 3/4 of this year hasn't happened yet. So I could be totally wrong because of news coming out like this that hasn't happened yet. If something to that effect happens, it's hard to make a solid prediction on that. That's why I tend not to make yearly price targets. However, the reason I made an Ethereum price target here is because I wanted to curtail the hype a little bit. A lot of people think that Ethereum is just going to blow up in moonshot. Yeah. And guys, again, I think Ethereum is going to do very well. But remember, Bitcoin is designed to be digital gold. Bitcoin is designed to be a currency. Bitcoin is designed to have a limited supply and fight fiat currencies and increase in value. Ethereum was not designed for that purpose. Ethereum does not have a limited supply in the same way fiat currencies don't have a limited supply. Cardano does, by the way, and that's one of the things I like about Cardano is its max supply is set at 45 billion Cardano, making its coin, the Cardano coin, a much better investment long-term because of the supply and demand, and the law of market economies. And not the law of market economies, because of laws of economics having to do with limited supply of currencies, Cardano is very likely to rally in the long term. Ethereum was not designed to do that, so I am cautious of it. Tim?
Yeah, so no, someone said in chat, they're like, Ethereum is kind of killing ADA right now. From a technical standpoint, it's kind of hard to argue with that point because ADA is really not doing much. We were talking about an article this morning, Jebb and I, where there are people predicting that from a technical analysis standpoint right now, it looks like Cardano could stay right on where it is, but it might do one of two things: either jump to 148, which really is not that impressive, or drop all the way down to 80 cents. I am of the belief that is not going to happen because if you guys have been watching the show, all this news on ADA coming out with Charles Hoskinson delayed for so long getting into smart contracts, and in the past week said, nope, we are going for it. They had that first meeting, the first contract, the $300,000 contract with that company from Canada. Was it big? No, but it's the first step of ADA actually getting the NFT game. Charles did his homework. He knows what he's getting into. That man, I believe, is going to be an unstoppable force.
Yeah.
But whether people wanted it to or not, it does have the look that Ethereum and Cardano are rivaling each other. I'm hoping they can coexist and keep going. And then you have this other news, and in case you guys didn't see it, the Polkadot news this morning. I think it's Engine Engine Coin working on investing 18.9 million. Was it? Let me look at that real quick. I had it right here. Yeah, Engine secures $18.9 million funding for Polkadot-based NFT blockchains. So now you got Polkadot making even more big. The NFT game, and Smay came to us this week and said, guys, I am learning the crap out of NFT.
Yep.
That's why you guys were going to see that video about it today. The NFT race is going to be very interesting because NFTs for sure aren't going anywhere. So the question is, who's going to get their handle on it? At the moment, Ethereum clearly has the lead, but we might see a good little race this summer, and hopefully all three of them do very well.
So this is something that I actually want to read a comment on because this is something that I might be uninformed on. Real quick, I need to say this. Someone said, y'all pay attention to the chat, lol, EIP is in Ethereum Improvement Proposal 1559 that Tim was just talking about is going to implement a mining cap and a burn rate. That is something very, very interesting to me, guys, because the entire reason that I'm in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is because of limited supply. If EIP 1559 is talking about implementing a mining cap and a burn rate and a limited supply in different facets on Ethereum, I completely change what I just said. If that's true, which I'm going to go and find out, you very well may be right. If that comes to pass, throw everything I just said out. Ethereum is a great coin to invest in.
Yeah.
Limited supply is the one thing I look for in any kind of currency to invest in. It's the entire reason we're in cryptocurrency. So my friend Anthony Bardazon, thank you very much for pointing that out. I will look into that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anthony's had some pretty clutch comments and questions.
Coming in clutch, man.
I love that you listen to the show. Also, go ahead and in chat, based off of that, you guys tell us what you think. In the 3-horse race, who is going to win between ADA...
Polkadot.
Oh, okay, Smay already voted Polkadot. Polkadot, Ethereum, or Cardano. What do you guys think? Let us know in chat.
We would love to hear it, guys. Also, by the way, thank you for 1,000 concurrent viewers. Only 307 viewers have hit the like button, guys. Come on, smash that like button. We are providing a ton of free content here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and taking time out of your very busy and profitable day to join us here. I hope we are providing enough value to make it worth your while. That is, of course, our goal. Guys, there are a few more things that we want to talk about. One of them is having to do with how a lot of people think that Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin. And actually, Tim, I want your weigh-in on this because a lot of people are thinking that Ethereum is going to overtake Bitcoin as one of the largest market capitalization cryptocurrencies. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think Ethereum is going to do very well, especially if what our friend Anthony just said about EIP 1559 does indeed come to pass. Can you tell us a little bit about that and give us a bit of your opinion on Ethereum and why you have chosen to buy some, Tim?
All right, so at the end of the day, Ethereum is not going to pass and outperform Bitcoin. That's my opinion. I look at it a lot like, I know people don't always love sports analogies, but those of you who love sports, think about the Michael Jordan LeBron debate. Listen, I'm a LeBron guy, but at the end of the day, I love Michael Jordan's very simplistic nature. He loves every time someone debates that. Why? Because they keep comparing them to Michael Jordan. As long as we keep comparing LeBron to Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan is the best player.
That's a very good point.
Bitcoin, I think, is doing a very similar thing where they're just sitting there like, oh, is Ethereum going to outperform Bitcoin? And Bitcoin's just like, all right, keep talking, because we still know we're the staple. You guys know this. This is not new. Maybe if you're new to crypto, you don't know this, but those of you who have been here for a while, altcoins, which is Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Litecoin, everything else, they serve to gain money, and then people take the profits and they go put them in Bitcoin.
Yep.
Bitcoin freaking loves whenever Ethereum does well. They don't get jealous. They don't get upset. Bitcoin is not worried about this trend that we just saw today where they kind of split, because Bitcoin knows, listen, we've done that before. We're going to do it again. Yep. We're going to sync back up. Ethereum rides our coattails. This is not a problem. We're going to see Bitcoin be just fine.
Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you something about my portfolio. We have, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin now. We have a lot of Bitcoin, just put it that way, in multiple different wallets. Anyone that has large portfolios on cryptocurrency, by the way, does it get hard to track for you guys? Because we got it everywhere. Anyway, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that I have never once sold into US dollars. I have been in the market for almost 4 years now, coming up on 4 years in a few months. I have never once sold Bitcoin into US dollars. Why? Because of what Tim just said. Tim was talking about how Ethereum is constantly compared to Bitcoin. Well, here's the deal. A lot of people constantly compare Bitcoin to the US dollar, so doesn't that mean that doesn't that mean that the US dollar is top dog? Yeah, in fact, it does. The US dollar is still top dog. I don't believe it's going to remain that way, though, and that is why I've never sold Bitcoin into US dollar. People ask me what my exit strategy on cryptocurrencies are. I have exit strategies on Ethereum. I have exit strategies on everything. Some of them are very vague right now. I'm just like, okay, as soon as I see that the bull market seems to be ending, I'm going to think about converting them. However, I have no plan on selling Bitcoin. I have no plan on cashing out of it. I have plans on cashing out of Ethereum. I have plans on cashing out of other cryptocurrencies. I don't on Bitcoin, because when I cash out of Bitcoin, here's how I want to do it. I want to cash out of Bitcoin to buy a coffee mug. I want to cash out of Bitcoin to buy a book. I want to cash out of Bitcoin to buy a Shure SM7B microphone. I want to cash out of Bitcoin to buy this freaking awesome pen that I've had for like 2 years. By the way, guys, every man ought to have a great ballpoint pen. This video is brought to you by pens. I'm going to throw it over there and get it out of the way. Every man ought to have a good pen. Anyway, I want to spend my Bitcoin investing in things. I want to spend it as a currency. I don't want to sell it into US dollar. I am tired of the US dollar. I am tired of the government telling us what we have to do with our currency. I am tired of the US government inflating the US dollar and stealing from our futures and ransacking our wealth so that they can pay for social programs today. The federal government already has $3 trillion in taxes coming in every single year, and yet they still need to inflate our currency, to steal our wealth, to fund the things that they are trying to do. The government has gotten too big, and at the end of the day, Bitcoin is the thing that will come in and save that. Guys, I've said it 4 times on this stream. I'm going to say it one more time. If you want to know why I'm saying this, I don't have time to get into it in this stream. Please read this book. This book is called The Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Ammous. If someone can type that in chat real quick so that they know how to spell it, the name is The Bitcoin Standard, Saifedean Ammous. You'll be able to find it. It's one of the best-selling cryptocurrency books of all time, and you'll understand why so many people are choosing Bitcoin. My friend, I will leave you with this, and then we'll move on to price predictions. I do believe Bitcoin is the most secure form of currency in existence right now. More than gold, it's more decentralized than gold. It has a stronger supply cap than gold, has a lower inflationary rate and a higher stock-to-flow rate than gold ever has or ever will. Bitcoin is the most secure as far as long-term store of value. It's called salability over time. Salability means store of value. Salability over time means store of value over time. It has the highest salability over time of anything in existence, bar none. And if you compare it to the amount of adoption that it has. Bitcoin doing that means that it is the most secure store of value that you can put your money into. Whenever a highly saleable and a highly secure currency comes into existence, every other currency bows down to it. There's a reason that gold, listen to me guys, this is important. There's a reason that gold has been dominant for thousands and thousands of years. It's because of its salability over time. It's because when you invest in it, you can expect that the same value you have today is still going to be valuable 100, 200, 300 years from now. Hell, a 10-year period from now. Bitcoin is the new gold, and Bitcoin is the future of currency. My friends, don't miss this opportunity. You think Bitcoin is high right now at $60,000. Bitcoin's going to millions. So we're going to do price predictions on whatever here in a second, but I'll tell you my price prediction on Bitcoin for the long-term future. It's somewhere between $1 and $10 million. And by the way, 1 Bitcoin is going to 1 Bitcoin, because eventually 1 Bitcoin isn't even going to be charted over the US dollar. Things are going to be charted over Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going to take over because of fundamental principles in economics that have rang true throughout the history of mankind. Made my piece. Like going on little rants like that.
I love it.
Love it.
Did you already give your predictions for Ethereum?
I gave my predictions for Ethereum. Yeah. So guys,
the week, the month, and the bear.
My
bull market?
My day, my week, my month, and even my year.
Come on. Oh my god.
Tim was trying to get me to watch Friends a while back.
No. What?
Yes, you were. Was that Taylor?
Yeah. Do not.
Was it Taylor?
My wife is a 130-pound woman. I'm a 260-pound man. We are very different, and I have a beard.
And you, what the hell does that have to do with anything?
It has to do with don't be thinking that I'm my wife. Like, we are very different people.
So you're saying you didn't tell me
I don't watch Friends, first of all.
Okay, he watches The Office. This man has watched through The Office 26 times. 26 times. How many hours of your life have you spent watching The Office?
It might be more than 26, honestly.
Tim, give us your funniest Office reference real quick.
This is the problem, and this is what I'm working on. I probably have not read the Bible as much as I have watched The Office, and that is my confession, and I'm working on it. I haven't watched The Office in 6 months. Okay. I am a recovering addict.
He is recovering, yes. He's now watching Bob's Burgers, by the way. So he basically just stopped smoking cigarettes and started smoking pot or something like that. That's pretty much what you did, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I take that back. He's not watching a lot of Bob's Burgers anymore. He's actually watching the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, which you can find a link for in the description box down below. March 2021 is now over. However, we had 55, I think, people join CT2A in a two-day span because they fully understand the power of harnessing technical analysis to...
What the heck?
Oh, I'm waiting for myself to die on camera right here.
We're ahead of, but we just saw that.
We just
saw what you guys saw.
I tried to sneak it in there. Good grief.
He tried to get by. I was trying to make a sale and make sure we stay in business, gentlemen. You guys get your payroll for making sure I sell CT2A. Anyway, guys, CT2A is the place where people go when they know that technical analysis is the gate and key to becoming a profitable trader. If you're trading Bitcoin and you don't know technical analysis, I'm sorry, my friend, but you're not putting the odds in your favor. You want the odds to be in your favor because at the end of the day, no trade is guaranteed, but you can shift those odds in your favor by learning technical analysis. It's incredibly important so that you know what you're doing and so that you can profit a lot. Guys, I know of people that have made hundreds of thousands of dollars on single trades because they have the capital and because they have the knowledge. You might not start with the same kind of capital that these guys have with millions of dollars of trading Bitcoin, but what you can do to compete with those big fish, those whales, is learn the same things they learned. In CT2A, I'm going to teach you the exact same concepts that the whales and the millionaires and the billionaires trading and investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies know. If you want to get on the same playing field as the people with millions of dollars, here's what I'm selling you, because I am selling you something. I'm not selling you information. I'm selling you time. Let me be very clear on something. We don't sell a course because we have information that others don't. We are not selling a course because I have some silver bullet. We are not selling a course because I'm a guru. I am selling you a course, 36 videos and 12 hours of content, because to learn that content on my own, because I am a self-educated man. I dropped out of college because I think the college system is a complete and utter scam. That rhymed. At the end of the day, that took a very long time. If I spent 2,000 hours researching cryptocurrencies, I could have worked $10 an hour and made $20,000. For CT2A, you can go through 12 hours of content and spend $349 and learn everything you need to know about technical analysis to get your foot in the door and get started trading cryptocurrencies. The link is the first in the description box down below. Ask any of our students what they think of CT2A. I will be happy for you to go and ask any one of them. Go and get a God's honest testimony where I can't see it and I can't put my 2 cents in it. I'm that confident that it's a good product that'll change your life. Check it out, link in the description box down below. You will always hear me preach about the importance of self-development and in continuing education. That's my piece.
Yeah.
Tim, what should we predict?
Well, before we predict, I mean, Jebb, you can look at it if you want, or you can say no. If you guys just go look at the chart for what the heck was I talking about? The coin. People said it in chat. Man, my brain right now. It's mooning. Gosh, what the heck, Tim?
Filecoin.
Filecoin.
Thank you, Smay.
Hold on.
That was an absolute brain
Are we
fart.
actually doing predictions today? Because
No, we're not predicting.
Okay, good.
So
we're not. Okay.
What I wanted, and we'll get to that in just a second. What I was going to say about Filecoin, because I've seen a lot of comments scattered throughout the entire video asking it. I've responded to a couple of them. Go look at the chart your guys sells on Filecoin. Jebb and I were looking at it this morning. It has rallied like crazy, absolutely. And the truth is, Filecoin is a very interesting project. So long term, I actually think that potentially there might be something there. Smay is shaking his head. He doesn't agree. Well, that's an opinion.
yeah, it's an opinion.
That is booty.
At the end of the day, Filecoin, though, is massively overextended. So if anyone was wondering, should I get into Filecoin and jump on the train? No, don't wait. Wait just a minute. It's about to go down.
Guys, and by the way, even if Filecoin rallies another 100%, when a cryptocurrency rallies that far, that fast, it is overextended. If you are getting in now, you are doing something called FOMOing, which is a cardinal sin in cryptocurrency. Just so you know, you want to be very careful about that. When you FOMO into a project, it will bite you in the tail. You don't want to do that. I promise.
Nice save.
It wasn't a save. I set that up for myself. That was actually intentional.
Nice intentional save.
Either way, whenever a cryptocurrency like Filecoin is rallying that far, that fast, you just got to be careful with it, guys, because what's going to happen when it's just exploding and mooning? What happens if it stops? Eventually, it's going to stop, guys. These cryptocurrencies rally for like 30 to 90 days, and then they flatline or crash. Someone said, "Thou shalt not FOMO." We need a 10 commandments of crypto. We ought to write that and put that in the course. The 10 commandments of crypto. Thou shalt not FOMO and thou shalt not FUD. Abso-freaking-lutely, thou shalt not FOMO. If you get into Filecoin right now, you're FOMOing. By the way, this is not a knock against its fundamentals. I don't know the first thing about Filecoin's fundamentals. It jumped up out of nowhere. I don't know anything about this project. I'm telling you, technically, it's going to correct. It is going to crash. Unless we just saw the U.S. government or something adopt Filecoin to do all of their filing. Again, I don't know what it does. In case something like that just happened, then yes, maybe it could just explode and moon. Don't think that happened. Be very careful with these massive rallies, guys, because they will hurt you if you get in late. If you had gotten in a week ago, great. It's too late. Anyway, guys, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. Tim, what you got for us?
Yes, all I wanted to do, so people are asking, are we doing a prediction? We did a prediction yesterday. We predicted what Bitcoin would look like on Friday because we didn't think we were going to be here. But we are here, so all we're going to do is just update you guys and look at what is happening with that vote. So yesterday we predicted that by Friday, Jebb predicted 62,000 for Bitcoin. Smay predicted 58,500 because he hates Bitcoin. And your president, Tim, the crypto beard, projected 62,147. I think it's going to get there. Let us know in chat what you think, and check back in tomorrow at 9:30 because we will reveal the winner.
Absolutely,
Technically, I would
guys.
have won today, wouldn't I?
We didn't predict for today.
I know, but if it would have been today, I would have won.
Smay over here trying to steal everybody's
Trying
predictions.
to get a win.
Almost
but he doesn't deserve
exactly,
it.
though.
Smay's trying to steal everybody's predictions. You tried to steal
That was my prediction!
You tried to steal Definitely Not High
was
Zach's
my
prediction a while
prediction.
ago. He tried to steal Definitely Not High Zach's prediction a while ago. Shout out to everybody who's on Definitely Not High Zach's team.
Let me just say this real quick to the chat. Guys, if Zach made a prediction when I was at Disney on behalf of me, that becomes my prediction. Right?
Okay, so who said the prediction?
It doesn't matter.
Who said the prediction?
He did it on behalf of me.
Who uttered the prediction?
It's irrelevant. It's over.
Who made the prediction?
Okay, let me ask you this, Jeff.
It's over.
Hey, Smay, who
If
made the
somebody
prediction?
gets an Oscar and somebody else accepts the Oscar on behalf of somebody else, does that make it their Oscar?
The person
Exactly.
No, listen, the person who did the work gets the Oscar. So you just set yourself up for failure, my friend, because Zach was the one that made the prediction.
The work isn't the reward show. The work, that doesn't matter. That was
So you're the one accepting the Oscar from someone else who did the work. You just completely wrecked yourself.
Comment in the chat. Do you think that win belongs to Team Zach, or do you think it belongs
to Team
Smee
Zach.
the Tree?
Belongs to Team Zach. Smee is trying to steal Zach's Oscar. Guys, nevertheless, that is going to wrap it up for today's live stream. Is there anything left before I send us?
Nope.
Guys, if you enjoyed today's live stream, as always, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. But before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.